Hey, Crystal Maiden here, and this is Sonic 2. I'm not really a big fan of this one, but I'm gonna try to keep my negativity to a minimum. Like, basically, the reason I don't like this game is because it's cheap. It feels really cheap to me because look at that. Those chompers just rose out of the bridge, and and you're running so fast. Sonic's always in the center of the screen, right? So, because he's moving so fast, it feels like you're expected to have lightning fast reflexes to react in time to the enemies when they suddenly pop up on the right side of the screen. And I think the biggest problem with this game is cheap enemy placement. And not only that, not only are they poorly placed, but there's a lot of badniks that are just really annoying all on their own. Like these buzz bombers. I really hate the buzz bombers. They shoot energy balls at you, and it's really annoying how they can hit you from afar. And they tend to shoot at the instant that they show up, although they're not as bad as the ones in Sonic 1. And the coconuts, badniks, which are the monkeys in the trees, they throw stuff down at you, and sometimes they're too high up for you to jump at them. A lot of LPs of this game tend to get all of the Chaos Emeralds in Emerald Hill Zone, because that's something you can do. In this game, in order to get the Chaos Emeralds, you have to go to a checkpoint with 50 rings and look up and jump. And then you'll go into the special stage. And you can theoretically use the checkpoints in this level to get all of the Chaos Emeralds in Emerald Hill Zone Act 1 and 2. Of course, that's if you're good at the special stages. Me, I can't even get past the second one, so... There's also the fact that the checkpoints are arranged so that some of them are higher than others, and if you activate checkpoints that are higher than others, if there's a checkpoint and then above it in a different room is another checkpoint, then activating it will activate the checkpoint on the lower room, for example. So you have to be really careful about how you hit the checkpoint, or you'll use up them and you won't be able to get all the emeralds in Green Hill Zone. I mean, in Emerald Hill Zone. Yeah, this boss is kind of annoying because sometimes it shoots its drill at you, but it's pretty easy. Just jump on it. Thankfully, you don't have 3 acts in Sonic 2. That's something I like about it. But I'm not gonna bother getting all the Chaos Emeralds. I think one of the biggest problems I have with this game might stem from the fact that they introduced Supersonic, which is basically an invincible super form of Sonic that lets him move a lot faster and jump higher. And he often fights the final bosses of Sonic games in that form. But in this game, he's basically just an invincible god mode that gets you a very slightly better ending. He doesn't have a boss that you can only fight if you unlock him. And I feel like the reason the level design in this game is so annoying and the badniks are so cheaply placed is because they thought, people are just gonna be blasting through this level Supersonic. Let's just put them wherever. So they didn't really think about carefully constructing the level and putting the enemies in good locations, because they just thought that we'd be just blasting through the game in Supersonic. That right there is the best level in the game. Chemical Plant Zone Act 1 is my favorite level in the game. It's the only level in Sonic 2 that I ever go back to. Because again, I think I must emphasize that the biggest problem I have with this game is that the badniks are annoying and cheaply placed. Like, nearly all of them have projectiles. That's something I really hate about them. the enemies are annoying, and the way the level is designed. Oh, I hate how you can get crushed by those things. The way the level is designed, it feels like you can't go fast without being punished. Because you try to go fast, and chances are you'll either get hit and lose rings, or you'll get stopped by a wall, or by spikes. Because that's another thing. There's a massive amount of spikes in this game. Like, people complain about the Advance series on Game Boy Advance having too many spikes, but this game also has that as a problem. And it's not so much that you'll be running into spikes and getting hurt by them, it's that the spikes will stop you, and they'll completely ruin your momentum. Like, I like this. This is fun. But there's not enough of this in this game. Like, a lot of people say that this is a speedy game, and that the levels are so fast-paced, but aside from parts like this, which are incredibly fun, why did I not get bounced upwards by that red thing? Yeah, I always had problems with that red launcher, because I'm not entirely sure how exactly to make it launch me. Do you jump around it? Do you jump on it? Do you run at it with momentum? Because I was doing that and it didn't work. Chemical Plant Zone is one of the only levels in the game that I really enjoy, because it's got a mixture of fast-paced level design with a lot of slopes and dash pads. That's something new to the Sonic series, is dash pads. You hit them, and then they just send you really fast forwards. And that's something new to the Genesis era Sonic games. But it's also got precise platforming. But the problem is that the game punishes you way too severely for messing up precise platforming, because either you get crushed, or you fall into a bottomless pit, or you fall into the Mega Mac, which is what the pink water is called. And the water areas here are horrible, practically unplayable. So you really don't want to fall into them. And it really sucks when the spinning floor tiles, they kill you after you beat the boss. And they can also kill you while you're fighting the boss and have just landed the last hit on him. That boss is kind of annoying. I mean, you can just jump into him, and you can actually make it really easy by playing in Sonic and Tails mode, and ducking, and using the second controller to control Tails, and having him jump into him. That's another thing I haven't talked about yet. Tails. Tails is a character who is introduced in this game. Well, technically he first appeared in Sonic 2 for the Master System, which was released a month before this. But in canon, this is the first game he appeared in. And Tails is a two-tailed fox, who, according to his official character description, is sweet-natured and kind, and gentle, and humble. He doesn't brag about his abilities, he doesn't see it as that big of a deal. Which is really strange, considering that he's a genius. And a lot of child prodigies in the media, in fiction, they tend to be really arrogant about their skills. Like, Tails is a genius. He can pilot a plane, he can build stuff, he can engineer stuff, just like Eggman can. He might even be a better engineer than Eggman. But he doesn't brag about it, he's not arrogant about it. Except in Lost World, where he's turned into the typical example of insufferable genius. Like, seriously, he becomes Jimmy Neutron. He becomes Sheldon Cooper. I don't like it how Tails is an insufferable genius in later games in the series. Because the whole reason I like Tails' character is because he's a sweet and kind little boy, and he's very endearing because of that. Like, I don't find things adorable very easily, but I think Tails is really cute. And not only that, but he's special because he's not a cliche. He's a genius, but he's not arrogant about it. He's a child prodigy, but he's sweet and humble. And I feel like by making him too confident, they make him into a cliche and sort of miss the point of his character and what made him so special. Those things can crush you if they land on you. And these water areas are really annoying. Like, I sort of liked Labyrinth Zone because it had a lot of satisfying platforming. But this isn't really satisfying. You're not really... It's hard to describe, but it feels... The platforming isn't very satisfying, and you're drowning a lot more. A lot of people found the drowning music pretty terrifying in the Genesis era Sonic games. I think because it tells you that you're about to drown and you better hurry up. And so even though it's 16-bit era, even though it's 16-bit Genesis sound, it still makes you panic. And see what I mean about badly placed enemies? How is that not cheap? I was setting right into them. And those arrows, that's another reason why I hate this level. There's all these arrows constantly flying around that can hit you. And they can just pop out at you from nowhere. It's really easy to get hit by the arrows. And I hate the vertical pillars in the level, that when you jump on top of them, they crumble. And instead of... It's not like you can jump on top of them, and then they provide... And then they allow you to jump higher. No, they just crumble. And they block your path. It feels like they have no real purpose in the level at all, other than to stop your momentum and make you stop and be unable to go fast. I do love how you can skip over a lot of the water in this level if you're skilled enough to stay at the higher roots. But sometimes staying at the higher roots requires you to use the red launcher things, and I'm not really good at making it work correctly. Oh yeah, here's Sonic and Tails mode. And here's the smart way to deal with this boss. But sometimes it's kind of hard to stay all the way to the right and jump at the right time to make it so that you're standing on top of the pillars when they rise up. And so you'll automatically get pushed back and you won't be on top of them. But if you're on top of them when the boss fight starts, you can just easily jump at Eggman, and every time you hit him, you'll be automatically sent back to where you were on the pillar if you hold back after you land on him. So the boss can be cheesed really easily. I'll see you in the next part.